excuse me, it being 7 p.m., we'll call the Monday, December 12th, 2022 Oxford Planning Board meeting to order. First on the agenda is going to be, first of all, is anybody recording? Sir, are you recording the show tonight? No. All right. So, in addition to tonight's video recording on cable access pursuant to Massachusetts Open Meeting Law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. All attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. All right, we don't have any A&R plans tonight, so we have an action item for Kathy Way subdivision release of 1, 2, and 3. There's been a development on that. Tony, if you want to fill us in.
Yes, I received a communication from the developer, Mr. Conrad Allen, who said he wouldn't be able to attend tonight's meeting. So whatever the pleasure of the board may be, I would recommend that we at least hold this over to the next meeting so Mr. Allen has opportunity to explain the purpose of the release of lots and the status of the project in general.
Okay, December 26th at 7:05.
Unfortunately, there's not a meeting on December 26th, but
Okay, the chair will accept a motion to carry this over to the first meeting in January, I guess.
I'll make that a motion.
Tony, do you have any time?
we don't need a time certain. I was just going to place on the agenda
Put
as
it
an
on the
action
agenda.
item.
Put it on
Okay.
as an
Thank
action
you.
item.
So, Jeff made the motion, seconded by Mark. Call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Aye. Carried unanimously.
So that's January 9th, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got a couple dates to approve minutes for, if we're so inclined.
Yes, we have two sets of meeting minutes, October 24th, 2022, and November 14th, 2022. In one of those meetings, we had an executive session. Those minutes are not a part of the minutes you've received. So what you have are the
Okay, looks like on
public meeting.
October 24th, we were all here. So,
Make a motion to approve the minutes of October 24th, 2022.
I'll second it.
motion by Rich, seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? Call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Aye. Carried unanimously. Next up, November 14th. Again, looks like we had the full enchilada that night.
I'll
Anybody
make a
want to?
motion that we accept the minutes from November 14th, 2022.
Motion by Roger,
I second.
seconded by Rich. Any discussion? There being none, a call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Aye. Carried unanimously. No old business. Any new business? Do you want to do the subdivision rules under that? New business?
Do the,
Yeah, that's what he had it under.
All right.
Sure, and I can be as brief for as long as the board wishes, but before you this evening, I did not send this electronically. This is a work in progress. Did provide you at least with a hard copy. Happy to send the electronic copy over too, but this is getting closer to 100% of the document of the updated subdivision rules and regs. Certainly, if the board wishes to review further, happy to to take comments from the board. Understanding you just received this tonight, but at the next meeting, however the board sees fit, at some point, whether tonight or at a future meeting, would like to have the ability to share this with town council, so at least they can review. Like I said, the bulk of it is here. There was still, once when this is approved, we will prepare the applications, and there may certainly, Mr. Scolas has mentioned, a need for a sidewalk, have a sidewalk standard in place. And there are some things that we still need to work on in here, but like I said, the bulk of it, at least the body, is here. And this covers from A&R to a preliminary subdivision plan to a definitive subdivision plan. Under the A&R, we incorporated the elements that were required in the A and R application form, including the R factor. It's incorporated in this document. Under the largest section is the definitive itself. And with that, we also included the standards that DPW put together for driveways, and what the grade requirements are, and so on. It's a larger document than our current, but it's also, the goal of this is really to assist someone that's preparing these definitive plans, or even the A&R plan or preliminary plan, and to help guide them in advance to, meeting at a tech review, or coming before this board, or calling us, which applicants are welcome to do all of the above, right? But this would be a significant update to our current subdivision rules and regs.
So, quick question, and I'm not trying to get into a big, long discussion, but off the top of your head, can you think of any major points that you might have added or subtracted or revised in this based on the old one?
Yeah, so as I mentioned off the top of the A&R piece, so sinking in what's been the expectation, I'll use that word, of applicants for the A&R requirements, right? So whereas the previous document did not make reference of, for example, the regularity factor or the shape of the lot provision, so that's incorporated in there. The reference to marking out the wetlands, upland, that's incorporated in this document. So so including that in there is important. There is more about the sort of the 101 of what a submittal should be, also requiring electronic copies, also referencing within the document various, forgive me, what's the word I'm looking for? I tried to avoid using miscellaneous, but there's a few sections on miscellaneous, but what the review of the Board of Health it would actually entail, for example, in a definitive subdivision, and giving some preview of what a review of the Department of Public Works, DPW, would entail as well. And, we did include in here also just general reference to different acronyms, but also just definitions, acceptable definitions, I would say standard definitions, that someone that's reading this, let's say for the first time, could get a better understanding of what subdivision rules and regs would look like.
More detail of each section and what's required.
Yes. Our current document, let's say, is about 16, 17 pages, and this one is, you see, it's over 50 pages, but that's not a negative. But we are expecting, it answers the questions that we'll get from, from an engineer, from an architect, of what exactly do you need for showing of wetland, and the reference to the we clean up the issues of the NGVD, the datum, right, from 88 versus 1928, right?
Yeah.
So we clear that up in here. And what is scale? And scale varies depending upon what the plans are that we're expecting to receive. So I do take a look at it, and none of this is etched in stone, and it's building off of what our document is, but also what others have done as well.
Yep.
In terms of requirements moving forward, it just requires a public hearing of this board. This is not a document that requires town meeting approval or anything. This is the board's document. So there's a good amount of stuff here to work off of. Would like to, if the board wishes tonight, and again, this is not the end, but would like to share this with KP, at least have them do a preliminary review over. But there's, with the understanding that there's more that we can add or strike out from the document. But this way, with the idea of hopefully I could get something back to you folks in January, and then have the public hearing maybe first meeting in February.
Thank
So,
you.
Tony, in this document, there's no indication of what was added and what was deleted, right? It's just written out with the
Yeah,
changes.
it's just written out as a whole new document itself.
Tony, put me on the list of getting the electronic version. I'd appreciate that.
Well, you know, it's important to have that in here too, as, you know, request of the board to have more and more projects, all projects eventually onto the website, and it just makes everyone's lives a lot easier. And again, the 101 stuff, I hate to say it, but just of what good form is, and reminding folks that you need to submit with the clerk's office too. That's for their benefit as well. To have something, you know, stamped with the clerk as a submittal. But, so there's all of that in there.
Is providing an electronic submission in addition to the paper one in this document?
It is in
a
addition to,
requirement? Okay.
yeah, yes, it's in addition to.
Yeah, because that just saves us the work, because otherwise we end up having to scan it and do it, and that's,
Yeah, and then we make reference of, you know, under administration, there's section 2, you know, here we highlight, you know, what is technical review and the benefit of the technical review committee, and which we also urge on a preliminary subdivision plan too. Applicants, you know, are welcome to come in. Requirements for stamp and signature of surveyor and engineer, how to formalize a request for waivers. We discuss consultant review fees, which, and what those procedures are, and what processes for alteration. That approval does not make a street a public way by default, no. But we provide on page 10 guidance of how you, what you should know about that. So, yeah, procedural for subdivision review process. Lay that out for the definitive plan, we'd be looking for sort of for a technical review, and then preliminary subdivision submittal requirements, the applicant's requirements for that, and like I said, the definitive, which is the bulk of this document.
Okay, well, through the chair. We have done this in the past, as far as having the document, the new document, public meeting, you know, having a public hearing.
Yes.
We also do the forms too. So, and the forms include the fees. So I just want to make sure that we're covering the town's costs.
Mhm.
You know, that's all.
So for the next meeting, I can furnish what a
With the
recommended fee schedule would be for all of the forms, as well, and then incorporate as part of this too.
Are the forms part of this that you gave us tonight? The
No.
revised forms?
No, the forms are not,
It's
and
not in there.
in my
That's why
experience,
I'm asking.
when there's a tweak here, then,
You're gonna do the forms
Modified.
last, after the body is done? Okay. Gotcha.
but I'm happy to, prior to the public hearing, having it all there in order.
Mm-hmm. That would be good.
We did not have all the forms we don't have all the forms in our current subdivision rules and regs. So it's really important. There typically would be about 12 or 13 different forms. So some of it may be a work in progress, like the release of lots form. This was what I would say a work in progress. Post-review, we didn't have anything in place, so
Yeah,
this
that's a
format
special,
will, we'll
special
incorporate that in there.
circumstance, you
But still,
know.
it came up though, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it'd be
Yeah.
nice to have all the forms as part of the document.
Mhm. And there's also renderings that will come also for the, you know, what a profile is for a sidewalk and so on. But that, we don't need KP to
No.
look at those renderings or necessarily the forms. I'd like them to see, to review not the form of the document, but to review the body of it, the language. Is it, you know, did we miss anything with the references to the,
Yep.
you know, MGL and so?
Any other discussion?
Well,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we have staff send this to KP Law and review the draft as written of the subdivision control law, rules and regs.
I'll second that.
Motion by Rich, seconded by Mark. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 all right.
Carried unanimously.
Thank you.
You're gonna put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yes, I'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Whether we have their comments back by that point or not, I'll still have some stuff to share with the board.
Yep.
Fees and we can delve into the forms and so on. Okay.
Excellent.
How much time you need to schedule a public hearing?
So
That's-
it would be standard, so we'd have
It's
to
not,
send notice.
is it legal, it doesn't have to be legally
Posted.
posted, right? I mean, it has to be posted, but it doesn't have to go through the newspaper. I don't believe. I don't know.
I'll have to double check. My recollection is that I believe it does.
I think all open
I
meetings
could be in error,
have to,
but,
Yeah.
Once our review is complete, are we gonna put it up on the website before the public hearing?
We can, and just highlight it as draft.
I would recommend that, because
Yep.
it's lengthy, and there will be people who wanna review it prior to the night.
Yeah. And
Good
what
idea. Good
What I've
idea.
done in the past too is I would share this document with various surveyors in the area too, just to share with them, to see, can get their feedback.
That's a good idea.
And it's a great opportunity for us and for them to learn about what our, subdivision rules and regs are and what they might be, and compare notes.
Sounds good. All right, next up is a submission for 58 Harwood Street. Come on up. Just want to state your name and who you are, and I don't know if that's the same thing, but what you hear.
I'm Jared Xavier. I work for Topa Land Survey. I'm one of the staff engineers. Tonight, I'm here to present a administrative land disturbance permit for a Shayla De Silva. The original application, we went to file it in August of this year. A member of my, or part of our staff inquired in September, and there was some confusion, so we're kind of picked back up and brought before here. Now, we are under an acre of land, so we don't need to go in front of the public hearing, but we are more than 10,000 square feet, which, puts us into administrative. She did pay the fee, the $150 fee with the application that went in. We did minimize the disturbance. We are well outside of the 100-foot buffer and the 200-foot riverfront buffer. We've taken all measures for the ANS on the plans. We've added roof drain in the back, the Coltech units. And we have a letter from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife that we are exempt from the MESA filing. And that was given November 30th. So we tried to, pick up everything that we saw within the regulations for this land disturbance permit.
Yeah, plans look good.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
it's, so the request is for administrative, so it'll be referred over to DPW.
Mhm.
And DPW has been involved in this process of getting it to here. And it is a complete application, so.
Awesome.
I would request that it be referred over.
Anybody want to make a motion that we refer it?
Make a motion that we refer the plans as submitted to the DPW.
Second?
Motion by Matt, seconded by Roger. Any discussion? Call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Carried unanimously. Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. Have a great night.
You too. Merry Christmas. Can I say that? All right. Next up, Planning Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two documents that just wanted to go over with the board. First document is the AG's approval of the May town meeting articles pertaining to the board. So Article 17 at the Maytown meeting pertaining to large-scale battery energy storage systems. Within the document, let me take a step back. For the large-scale battery energy storage systems, there are not many communities in Massachusetts where you can draw from for language. So we're one of the first to put something out there. And we did get an approval, and there were also some really good comments, very informative comments and other things we may wish, or we should consider as we're reviewing applicants moving forward on large-scale solar. So very much appreciative of the length and of detail. There are exemptions, as they noted, for public service corporations, potential preemptive effect of future amendments to the state building code. We're not there yet, but they did take the time to highlight that. And so very appreciative of the approval, certainly, and of the feedback. And
Sorry, Tony, who put this together? Who?
this document, and you have received this in the past too. This is the approval of the town meeting articles
Okay.
from the AG's office. So which,
Okay, so it's directly from, okay.
yes. So this was
There's just
received.
no signature, so you don't know who it's coming from.
I think it was cut off. It was one of the assistant AGs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? It's, at least my copy is a bad copy.
No
My
worries.
copy is a bad copy, but the electronic copy is
Thank you. I was just
is
like, it
clean.
looked like a letter, and I'm like, okay, so who signed it? Like,
So, that's my, my issue. And also the MOD, was also, included here as well.
It looks like we only got the odd pages.
Yes, yes. For the entire document, it is available electronically.
Sorry, Tony.
So, but that's, but all very good news on that front. We have not heard back, from the Fall Town Meeting, zoning articles. We would anticipate by the calendar, sometime by the end of this year, early next year, which the AG's office could always extend, the time as needed. But remember, for example, the in-law apartments is one that we still get questions about, or people will ask about. So that's still out there. But as soon as we hear back, we'll share with the board. We'll share with you the full electronic and hard copy.
Just a quick question on the battery storage.
Mhm.
I mean, I looked through some of the comments. Many of them are very technical or legal.
Yeah.
Was there anything in there that
Okay,
we
thank you.
should amend our bylaw with, or is it mostly just notification on how to implement the bylaw? That's what I was trying to glean from that.
Yeah, so I actually am going to follow up with council on that, whether there's anything we should consider for the spring.
Yeah.
Although I didn't see anything absolutely detrimental.
It seemed like more like how to implement your bylaw rather than an issue with the bylaw itself, so.
Yeah. The, for the board and the public, the document itself, their approval notice is available online under the municipal law unit in the AG's office. And one of the searches is Oxford comes up as battery storage as the subtitle to the document. So, which is a reference to other communities are also working through this as well. And us being one of the first, they really took some really good time to give us some helpful feedback. But remember, public service corporations are exempt. Remember that there's a state board that looks at some of these projects that have a larger magnitude. And so appreciate all the info that they really did take a lot of time
Mhm.
to assist us moving forward. So.
Nice. Anything else in your report?
Oh, last one is, and I turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman, but the CMRPC, we received last week a communication from them regarding the appointment of delegates and alternate to CMRPC's board for FY '23. And although it appears to be that this is not 100% accurate, but the delegate, they are looking for a delegate of the planning board And then the Board of Selectmen also appoints a delegate as well as an alternate. Now, if the board wishes also to provide recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, if you wish, you could do that. I think we may have come up against that, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but the reference of the delegate for the planning board, at least they had in their information, was not, I think was from a year ago. But I believe the delegate was Mr. Pearson
Right.
at the time.
It changed at one point. On their website, it did list me, and now it's listing Craig again. I don't know what
Okay.
happened with it.
Had nothing to do with it.
Sounds like a,
I'm happy to
Fair.
continue.
Do we need to revote, Madden?
for FY '23, if you wish to just vote that Mr. Pearson be the delegate, well and good.
I'll make a motion to elect Matt Pearson as a delegate for Central Mass.
Second.
Motion by Jeff,
I'll
seconded by Roger.
Oh, Roger seconded, okay.
Any discussion? There be none, I'll call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Carried unanimously.
And if the board wishes to make any recommendation to the Board of Selectmen or leaves them at their own will.
Like from this board or for anybody?
So, let's,
Used to be Terry Cummings. He was from,
thank you.
He's still on, so it says the current Board of Selectmen delegate is Terrence.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there because Dennis was the alternate for a while. And then I remember they voted on somebody else as being their delegate at some point, like around June of last year too. But like they seem to have gone back in
I
time.
suggest we get the selectmen and go back into their records and find out who's supposed to do it.
Yep.
And fill out this form properly, because there's something didn't happen during the summer.
Something went astray.
Yeah.
And Tony, I'd like to, I would like to remove my name as an alternate for the selectmen, if allowed.
Okay, okay.
We could
Then if
nominate,
Craig, if you want to go in and do me.
I was gonna say we could nominate Norm, because he seems kind of bored over there.
Yeah. I like that.
Never-
I like that.
Never mind. we'll
Could
let it
recommend
go.
Norm
It
to-
probably should go with the selectmen. They should make that big decision.
Yeah, they should. Well, it's their thing, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have nothing else.
All right.
So
Nothing else on the agenda, so
I just have a question. I had this on, so were we supposed to hear the 9 Stone Creek Circle?
That one got,
Gary Bates?
that's the one that got pushed out
That was
till
the one
next
we
year.
got
Yes,
to release the lots and stuff.
That was pushed out at the last meeting, when Mary was here. There was issue with the newspaper, I think, with the
Yeah,
notification.
It
newspaper,
didn't get out in time. It's-
newspaper closed early
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
It didn't get out in
okay.
time, so we had
Okay.
we had to
We
redo
moved
it.
it
So it'll be
over.
at the next,
We moved it over to
January, yeah.
to a meeting in January.
Yeah.
I have to go back.
Yeah.
and-
okay.
But thank you.
so before we close, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
You too.
safe and everything.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Chris, seconded by Roger.
Roger, he's,
Just squeaked in there.
he gets scooped it in.
Any discussion? There being none, call for the vote. I vote aye.
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 Aye. Carried unanimously.
Nice meeting.